Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is ThePromG and welcome back to a brand new video. What we guys today is my monthly manga reading log for the month of July. I don't know what it is this month, but I've just been super productive all month, whether it be work, YouTube, or just reading manga, everything in general. I've just been super productive, and yeah, this fat stack of manga right next to me, you can't see right now, but it's definitely a testament to that. I've completed and made progress on so many series this month. I don't know how I have this much time with a job and running the YouTube channel, but yeah, we're gonna get into all the manga that I read through this month of July. So if you guys do enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more manga videos just like this. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so the first thing I read this month is volume 1 of Dragon's Rioting. Now, I made a full video on just this volume. It's called I Read This Manga for the Plot. If you haven't checked that one out, I definitely recommend you go check it out after this video. And yeah, I really like this first volume. It's very interesting for an ecchi series. Obviously, I don't read a whole lot of ecchi series, but this one has an interesting twist where the main character has this condition that basically kills him if he gets sexually aroused. So it's an interesting spin on the ecchi genre or demographic, I guess. So again, if you want to hear my full thoughts on this volume, definitely go check out that video because it is a banger, let me tell you. Moving on to the next volume of manga that I read this month, that being volume 38 of Berserk. Now, as for the Fantasia arc, I'd say that volume 34 and volume 38 are probably the only two volumes that I've actually come away from saying like, wow, I really enjoyed that volume. And yeah, this one was just super enjoyable for the most part. This volume mainly follows Rickert, who is a member of the old Band of the Hawk, and he ends up going to Griffith's kingdom. I forget what it's called, like Falconia or something like that. And he ends up getting into a little bit of a beef with him, Griffith, and it's very interesting to see how things unfold. And then there's an action sequence, these fights against the war demons, I think. Maybe he's an apostle, I can't really remember, but it's just a super cool fight, and I really enjoyed the majority of this volume. Now, I say I enjoyed the majority of this volume because the last chapter actually goes back to Guts and crew on the ship, which is not the best Berserk has been. And yeah, I'm considering making a video about why I really don't like the new part of Berserk. I feel like it'd be a really controversial video, but one I still want to make in my own defense. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed this volume 38 here for the most part, besides the last chapter. All in all, this was a super enjoyable volume. And yeah, it gives me hope for the future of Berserk. The next volume that I read is volume 1 of Grand Blue Dreaming. I picked up the first 6 volumes from the Right Stuff birthday sale, and man, I'm so glad I picked up this volume because this was just an amazing start to the series. Now, as for the story, it follows Iori, bars, and right off the bat he just gets into a bunch of shenanigans, whether it be with the guys who are constantly drinking and getting naked and playing games and tricks and pranks and all sorts of stuff. And I believe his cousin is also a student there, and they have a very interesting relationship. Not the way you think, by the way, I just said it there, but yeah, it's definitely an interesting character dynamic between the two of them. And yeah, this has just been a super fun read so far, this first volume, and I cannot wait to get into more of it. You know, just reading this made me very excited to get back to college, even though it's definitely not going to be like it was last year, or anything like Iori's college experience for that matter in Grand Blue Dreaming. But yeah, this got me super pumped for school. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed this first volume of Grand Blue Dreaming. Next up, we have a series that I did manage to complete very early on into the month, that being 20th Century Boys. Now, I'm holding up volume 2 of 21st Century Boys because technically it is the ending of the complete series, so I'll just hold up this one for the time being, but you guys get the idea. You know, when it comes to storytelling, Naoki Urasawa really cannot be beat as far as I'm concerned. I really haven't seen a mangaka that's as consistent with his storytelling as Naoki Urasawa, and yeah, 20th Century Boys is really a testament to just his brilliance and mastery when it comes to storytelling and building these characters to make them really feel human. Now, I'm not sure where they are with the Perfect Edition release, but with those coming out right now, this is a great time to get into the series. It definitely has my highest recommendation if you're looking for an amazing series with masterful storytelling and character development. And yeah, this is definitely one of the most enjoyable series that I read throughout the entirety of this month. Up next, we have another series I completed this month, that being volumes 1 through 5 of Astro Lost in Space. Now, this was a very short series, only being 5 volumes. This one, personally, I believe could be about 2 volumes, but yeah, 5-volume series, and this was just an absolutely amazing ride. It follows this group of high schoolers who get sent up into space to have kind of this field trip on this distant planet, but this weird orb actually sucks them up and spits them out like 2,000 light years away. So they find this abandoned spaceship, which they name the Astro, and they end up working as a team, going from planet to planet. I believe there are 5 planets in order to get back home in the end. And while it started off seemingly as like an innocent shonen, you know, halfway through it really does kind of take a darker turn, and the plot and the story and all the mystery just really explodes. And yeah, that's one of the reasons I really enjoyed this series. I was super into it when it was a really simple shonen, but once the plot kind of exploded like that, it really grabbed my attention. And yeah, the series has really warmed me up to the idea of reading more shonen series. I've read a few this month, as you'll see later on in the video. But yeah, Astro Lost in Space, I definitely recommend this if you're balling on a budget looking for a short series, but an absolutely amazing one. I highly recommend you go check out Astro Lost in Space. Next up, we have yet another series that I wrapped up this month, that being Good Night Punpun. Now, I finished this like way early in the month. Again, another kind of short series, but this one was absolutely amazing. Again, on my top 10 list that I put out, there was a lot of really messed up stuff that happened in this volume in particular. It didn't really affect me too emotionally and deeply like it did with some other people who made them like super depressed. But yeah, regardless, this was a super impactful series. The beginning volumes I really did relate to. Yeah, well, I kind of lost relatability to me personally, which, trust me, is a good thing for how Punpun's life goes, you know. I really did enjoy this series so much, and it's definitely worthy of a top 10 spot. I know a lot of people avoid this series because they think it's going to be too sad for them, or it's really going to crush their soul, but I definitely would recommend just trying it out, and you know, if it's too much for you, there's nothing wrong with putting it down and coming back to it, or just dropping it completely. But you know, personally, I was afraid of that happening to me, but I could obviously handle the subject matter in this manga. So yeah, it was a pleasant surprise, and I definitely enjoyed reading Goodnight Punpun. So I recommend you go check it out if you haven't already. The next thing that I read this month is Volume 6 of Dorohedoro. Now, I've taken a hiatus from this series for I think like a month or maybe two actually. Yeah, I just haven't read this series for a long time. So I figured, what the hell, I have all these volumes to get through. I don't even know why I stopped reading it in the first place, really. I think I was just taking a break to read like maybe 20th Century Boys or another series. But yeah, once I got reacquainted with the characters and their personalities, you know, I was just sucked back in, and I really did enjoy this volume. Even though this is the only volume I read of Dorohedoro this month, I'm looking forward to getting into more as the month continues, and as August starts, I'll probably take some volumes up to college with me so I can keep working through this amazing series. So the next manga series that I've been working through this month is Battle Royale. Now, I have volume 9 here, and I've actually read volumes 1 through 9. As you can see, I have the complete set right here, and then 3 volumes up on my other shelf. But yeah, I've read volumes 1 through 9, and this has been an absolutely insane series so far. In my opinion, the first 1 or 2 volumes are a little bit of a slow, rocky start, but once you get the fat cut, you know, the characters that don't really mean anything to the story, and you get into the really interesting characters as the ones remaining, you know, the stories just takes off like a rocket. And yeah, it becomes super enjoyable. Now, if you don't know, Battle Royale is basically about this high school class that basically gets abducted, and they're basically forced to compete in this Battle Royale type game where all of them have to kill each other and only one can survive. You know, they all get a duffel bag with a random weapon and provisions to help them survive to the best of their ability, and this broadcasted to all of Japan, or maybe the world actually, as they all die and fight for their lives. The concept of this manga is super messed up, and the content of the series definitely follows suit. This is some of the most brutal violence I've ever seen in manga. I would probably say the most like grotesque violence I've ever read. Just the way that some of these characters get taken out is absolutely horrific and so graphic, you know, definitely not for the faint of heart. While this definitely isn't the best thing that I've ever read, you know, it definitely has its flaws as well as a pretty bad translation. It definitely has its merits, such as being a very binge-worthy series that you can just turn your mind off and enjoy. And while some people complain about the art style, I think it's very unique and detailed. So yeah, I'm definitely a fan on that front. But yeah, I've really been enjoying Battle Royale, and I'll probably have this finished up by the time the month is over. But yeah, so far I'm up to volume 9, and I cannot wait to keep reading Battle Royale. Alright, so the next series that I read this month is the first 4 Visbigs of Vagabond. So I guess that's technically the first 12 volumes of the series. But yeah, I've been reading this series in the Visbig edition. As you can see here, I just love these spines so much. And recently I've been picking up this series like it's nobody's business. You know, I'm trying to complete this as fast as possible. I think I'm only missing 2 more Visbigs. But yeah, as for actually reading this series, I started off this month, I read the first 4 Visbigs, and man, this is an absolutely amazing series so far. I made a first impression review of the first Visbig, aka the first 3 volumes, so definitely go check that out if you want to see my thoughts on that. But as for the first 4 Visbigs, I really do have the same high regard for this series, if not even more than when I started. The one I'd say I enjoyed the most was the 3rd Visbig, which is the one where Masashi has that duel against the guy who fights with the spear. Yeah, just the intensity of that volume and the fights, the art, again, just absolutely A1, and probably the best art you're ever going to find in manga, in my opinion. And I definitely can't wait to see how Masashi's journey continues from here. But yeah, this is another series that I'm going to take to college with me and just probably just binge read because I'll have a lot more time on my hands. But yeah, I've really been enjoying Vagabond so far, and I cannot wait to keep reading. Next up, we have another series by Takehiko Inoue, his only ever completed series, I believe, that being Slam Dunk. Now, I read the first 2 volumes of this series, and I really enjoyed them. I'm a pretty big fan of basketball, you know, more playing it than watching it. I'm not too into the NBA, but I really do enjoy playing basketball. I've been playing a lot of it through quarantine. You know, throughout this whole mess, reading Slam Dunk really was a breath of fresh air, and it was a much needed fill to the massive sports void in my life right now. Now, currently I only have the first 3 volumes of Slam Dunk, but actually I'm going to be selling these off, including this one, because I recently bought the full series, all 31 volumes, from someone on Reddit. A viewer, in fact, so he gave me a pretty good deal, and yeah, cannot wait to binge that series. I might not take it to college because it's just so many volumes, but I'll probably take a chunk of it and again binge that series when I get up and start my classes. And the final thing I read this month is actually not a manga volume at all, but it is the first volume of the Classroom of the Elite light novel. Now, as you can see by my bookmark, I'm about a third of the way through this volume, and I've just been enjoying it so much. It's been a nice change of pace from reading manga to reading an actual book. with words. Can you believe it? No, I never thought this day would come. Now, where I'm at right now, the story really hasn't expanded into, the full plot and uncovering all the mysteries behind this mysterious school. While the school that these characters are going to on the surface seems like a very luxurious school where everything's just handed to the students, eventually I'm going to find out that they really do have to work and earn their keep at the school, I'm assuming. Where I'm at right now, they're really just building relationships and you're kind of getting to know the characters. Yeah, being a first-time light novel reader, I'm really enjoying this first volume a lot more than I thought I was going to. I was really hesitant to start reading this series, but one day I was just looking at my shelf and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to dive right into this. I'm not going to hesitate at all. Just picked it up and I started reading it. I really haven't stopped since. This has been one of the main things that I've been reading these past few days. And even though it's just a light novel, I really do feel like an intellectual for reading a book that's not just a picture book. My parents and all my English teachers throughout all of schooling would be so proud of me, I know. But yeah, even though I'm not done with this first volume of Classroom of the Elite, I figured I'd include in this video because I've made decent headway on it and I want to fill you guys in on the first light novel that I've ever read. Anyways guys, that's going for this monthly manga reading log for the month of July. If you guys enjoy it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more manga videos just like this. So yeah, this has been ThePromG. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and as always, hope to catch you in the next one.